Hello, thank you for joining me today for information on the usage recommendations for Istation. We're glad that you're a part of the Red Cape Nation and excited to help you out during this time. So the question today is, how long should my child be on Istation? And that's a great question. Some of the considerations that I would look at is, first of all, has my student's teacher, school, or district provided specific guidelines for usage? And if they have, then we recommend that you follow their usage guidelines. Now, if they haven't, then we would recommend looking at about 30 to 40 minutes per week per product. So that leads us to the question of which product or products does my child use? And your child will know whether they use the math, the reading, or the Spanish reading, or if they use multiples of them. And then the next question you might have is there anything that I can do with my child online? So let's look at the app. This is the screen that will come up for your students, or something very similar. They'll have the apps, the icons with the products that they have available to them. I have everything because I work for Istation, but your students may have that reading with ISIP, the math with ISIP, the lectura con ISIP. If they have those, they would also have those libros and the books available to them. If your students have that reading with ISIP, they would probably have that oral reading fluency as well, the writing rules. And then you also have the iPractice button when your students are at home, as well as a backpack button. Now, the 30 to 40 minutes that we recommend, that's recommended usage in their personal pathway. So once they're in that personal pathway, they spend about 30 to 40 minutes per week in one of these areas. Okay, so that said, 30 to 40 minutes, they could do 15 to 30 minutes in a session, depending on your student's age and depending on their distractibility. So you know what your student is capable of doing. So getting that 30 to 40 minutes, you might have a Monday and a Wednesday that they're working in just the reading. Maybe they do 15 to 20 minutes per session. And that would get their 30 to 40 minutes per week in reading. And then maybe on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you do that for math. And that would leave them with a Friday where they could either go into books or they could go into the iPractice button. And in that iPractice, they get a little bit more motivation and they have their choice. So they get choice of what to do. They can go in and they can look at the games. They can play with the different songs, the books. So there's a lot to do there. And then there's also the writing rules. And that writing rules is a lot of times it's something just a little bit different for students. We recommend that for second grade and up. And that really looks at the 6 traits of writing, looking at the writing process, looking at narratives and expositories. How do I make those, or how do I get into writing? So those are our recommendations. The other thing down here, if you see that backpack, when you see an exclamation point down there, that means that your teacher has dropped something into the backpack. So that would be an assignment for your student to do. When they click on that backpack, it takes them to any assignments that the teacher has recommended. So when we do recommend that your student click on that and go through the assignments that the teacher has recommended, because that is extra practice for your student that the teacher may have gathered from the data. And it also may be that your teacher has gone in and said, you know what, these are some of the objectives that I need to hit on for my class because of their grade level. And so they've dropped a couple of assignments in the backpack to build knowledge for their students. So definitely have your students go in there if you see that red exclamation point. But that main 30 to 40 minutes, again, we're hitting that in the reading with ISIP icon, the math with ISIP icon, or that lectura con ISIP icon, okay? As a parent, if you do want to jump in and do something with your students, we recommend going in and reading those books with your students. That could be a lot of fun. If you want to help them out with the writing rules, that could be a very fun item for you. And then iPractice. So when they get to go in and they get to do the books and the songs and the games, that may also be a fun place to visit for you. So that hits on all of the usage recommendations. And again, get creative with how you do that. I would set some sort of a a schedule. We've talked about routine being really important for our students. So again, figure out what works best for your students, and I think that will help everyone to succeed. That said, let's go into, if you do need any help or support, please reach out to us. Our number is 866-883-7323, and then press the button number 2. You can also reach us at support. So that would be by email, support@istation.com. We'd love to see any pictures of successes that you're having with your students on any of our social platforms. Just tag us at iStation Ed. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.